I still remember the exact moment everything changed. The office looked the same. Humming computers, the stale scent of printer paper, the morning sun casting golden stripes across my desk. But nothing was the same. Because the man now standing in front of us wasn't my boss. He was my boss's son, and he had just inherited the company. "Good morning, everyone," he said, clapping his hands together like he was about to start a motivational seminar. "As of this morning, I'm the new CEO. A polite, scattered round of applause followed. I didn't clap. Not because I was bitter, at least not yet, but because I already knew what kind of person he was. I had worked at Hamilton Tech Solutions for 17 years. I was there before his father even bought the building. I had helped build the infrastructure, wrote the very code the company ran on, designed the internal systems, and trained every new IT staff member myself. I wasn't just an employee, I was the backbone. But to Jason Hamilton, I was just another face in the crowd, an outdated relic from a time he wanted to erase. His father, Richard Hamilton, was nothing like him. Richard was old school, but fair. He believed in loyalty and appreciated dedication. He wasn't a tech genius, far from it, but he knew the value of the people who made things run. When his health started to decline, he stepped back, thinking he'd left the company in good hands. He was wrong. I watched Jason strut through the office like he was doing us a favor just by existing. Designer suit, hair slicked back, jaw tight with smug ambition. He had a point to prove, and that meant cleaning house. "Some changes are coming," he said, smiling like a salesman. "Efficiency, optimization, streamlining, the usual. Some of you may not fit into the new vision of Hamilton Tech." I felt my team's eyes drift toward me. They knew. Jason never liked me. Not because I did anything wrong, quite the opposite. I had caught one of his disastrous coding attempts back, when he was just an intern who barely showed up. I saved the company from a major system breach he nearly caused. I never told anyone. Maybe I should have. That afternoon, I got the email. Meeting at 4 p.m. CEO's office. Jason Hamilton. I didn't panic, not yet. I gathered my notes and walked in calmly. "Sit," he said without looking up. I sat. He closed his laptop with a smug little flourish and leaned back. "Lisa, you've been here a long time." "Yes." "Almost 2 decades." He smirked. "Exactly. A long time. To be doing what, exactly? Patching legacy code? Babysitting? The system?" I stayed silent. I knew where this was going. He leaned forward. His voice was sharp now. "I'm not going to spend another dime on a worthless employee. You're done here." I nodded slowly. My heart pounded, but my face stayed calm. "Got it." He blinked. I think he expected me to beg or argue. When I didn't, he smirked again. "Smart. At least you're not dramatic." I stood, pushed the chair back gently, and turned to leave. "Oh, and HR will reach out about severance," he added, almost as an afterthought. I paused at the door. "Per the contract I signed with your father, severance is automatic. You might want to check the terms of that agreement." He looked confused. I didn't wait for a response. I walked out, not just from his office, but from the company. When I got home, I opened my laptop, because there was something Jason didn't know. When Richard promoted me to head systems architect 3 years ago, he added a clause to my contract. A very specific clause Jason hadn't bothered to read. One that gave me control over every internal system, every access point, every security layer. And if I was ever terminated without just cause, I had the legal right to wipe the slate clean. I wasn't vengeful by nature. But what Jason had done wasn't just cruel, it was stupid. Because now he was about to learn what this worthless employee was actually worth. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I was upset, I had long since stopped taking corporate betrayal personally, but because I was preparing. Every system, Every line of code, every security protocol I had designed over the years was in my hands. Jason hadn't even reassigned permissions. HR hadn't contacted me. No exit interview, no handover. He thought I'd just disappear. I opened the remote systems dashboard, hovered my mouse over the emergency lockdown protocol tab, and clicked. Immediately, the chain reaction began. Employee portal, deactivated. Payroll access, locked. Internal messaging, shut down. CRM and client systems, frozen. Servers, restricted. I didn't delete anything. That would have been illegal. But per the clause, I had the right to disable access until a legal resolution was reached. It was a nuclear option, and this situation qualified. By noon, my phone started buzzing. Unknown number, then a message. Hey, something's wrong. Everything's going dark. Did you do something? Jason is losing it. I didn't respond. A few minutes later, a call from Jason. I stared at the screen for a moment, then answered. Lisa speaking. What did you do? He barked. I stayed calm. I followed the contract. You should read it sometime. You shut down the entire system. No, I locked access to it. There's a difference. You're insane. No, Jason, I'm prepared. You made a decision without understanding the consequences. Silence. Then softer, almost defeated. So what do you want? I could have said money, my job back, an apology. But this wasn't about revenge. It was about respect. I want you to admit you were wrong, I said. Publicly, to your team, to your board, to everyone you dismissed. He laughed bitterly. You think I'm going to humiliate myself over this? I smiled. I think you don't have a choice. Then I hung up. 2 days, that's all it took. The company was unraveling. Payroll? Frozen. Clients? Furious. The coffee machine? Glitching. By day 3, I got a text from an unknown number. Board calling emergency session today. Jason's in trouble. Thought you'd want to know. That afternoon, my phone rang again. Private number. Miss Carter, this is Diane Hart from the Board of Directors. We need to speak with you. She wasn't asking. I joined the video. Call in a black blazer, hair tied back, calm and unbothered. 6 board members, sleek chairs, polished table. Jason looked like a ghost, collar loose, eyes red. Lisa, Diane began, we understand there's been a disruption. There. Has, I said, and you had legal authority to do this? Yes, per the clause in my contract. I was terminated without severance. Jason shifted, wanted to interrupt, didn't dare. Diane raised a brow. Mr. Hamilton, is that true? Jason cleared his throat. I didn't review her contract. I assumed it was boilerplate. I smiled. It wasn't. Diane leaned in. What would it take to restore the systems? I met her eyes. An official retraction of my termination, a signed letter acknowledging breach of contract, and a public apology from Jason Hamilton. Jason stared. Are you serious? I'm very serious, I said. You don't get to press undo. Actions have consequences. That night I went for a walk. The sky hung low with clouds. Streetlights glowed like halos. 17 years. I gave that company everything, and Jason tried to erase it with one sentence. But now he was learning something his father understood from day one. Loyalty is earned, not inherited. He didn't apologize the next day, or the next, even as the company bled contracts and chaos. He hired an external firm, promised results in 72 hours. They had no idea the fortress I had built. By day 4, I got another call. From Richard Hamilton. Lisa, he said, voice gravelly but firm. I read the contract. I stand by it. You earned that power. Thank you, I said. I'm not asking you to forgive him. I'm asking if you'll help fix this. For the people who still... Depend on Hamilton Tech. I met him the next day. Quiet cafe, no board, no Jason. He slid a document across the table. A partnership offer, permanent rights, co-ownership, formal recognition of everything I had built. And Jason? Stepping. Down, Richard said. The board votes tomorrow. The next morning, I stood before the board again. This time, not as an employee, as an equal. Do you wish to restore the system? Diane asked. Yes, under one condition. She waited. That every engineer on my former team gets a raise, permanent status, and back pay for fixing Jason's mess. Diane nodded. Done. I opened my laptop, typed the commands, executed. Hamilton Tech came back online, the heartbeat returned. I looked at Jason one last time. He finally understood. You don't fire the backbone. He wouldn't meet my eyes. I didn't need him to. This wasn't his story anymore. The system was back online. Emails flowed, salaries processed, clients returned. From the outside, it looked like the storm had passed. But inside me, something still lingered. I should have felt triumphant. I should have felt powerful. But all I felt was tired. 17 years. 17 years of late nights and early mornings, of eating lunch at my desk, of fixing what others broke, of holding up a company that never once tried to hold me back. And when I thought about how Jason had tossed it all away with one sentence, I won't spend another dime on a worthless employee, a quiet ache settled behind my ribs. It wasn't about revenge anymore. It was about worth, and how easily the world pretends not to see it. Over the next week, I transitioned the IT systems to a new team, one I personally helped hire. I didn't want to be the only name holding up the infrastructure anymore. If I'd learned anything, it was this. No one should ever be a single point of failure, not even me. One afternoon, I found myself back in the old server room. The hum of machines, blinking lights, the faint chill of recycled air. It was exactly how I remembered it. Except now, I wasn't there to fix anything. I was there to say goodbye. Mark, my former colleague, found me there. I heard Jason moved out of the executive suite today, he said quietly. I nodded. About time. He didn't say a word, just packed up and left. Did you expect him to? I asked. Mark shrugged. No, but I hoped. Maybe he'd say something to you. I don't need his words, I said. He already gave me a silence when it mattered. Mark smiled faintly. You know, we all watched what you did, every single one of us, and we weren't just impressed, we were proud. That caught me off guard. Proud? Yeah, he said. You stood up for all of us, for every employee who's ever been undervalued, for every woman who's been told she's just something, for everyone who's ever been discarded by someone who thought a title meant intelligence. I blinked. My throat tightened. You made us believe again, Lisa. I didn't have words, just a quiet, grateful smile. That weekend, I visited my parents' grave. I hadn't been in months. They were both teachers, modest people who believed in effort over ego. When I first got the job at Hamilton Tech, they celebrated like I'd won the lottery. When I worked late, they brought me food. When I was passed over for promotions, they told me to keep going. I sat between their headstones and rested my palms on the grass. I did it, I whispered. Not just for me, for everyone like me, for every person told they weren't enough, for every worker laid off with nothing but an empty box and a forced smile, for every unseen genius sitting in a cubicle, making everything run while someone else took the credit. I stayed a while, just breathing, listening to the wind, letting the silence wrap around me like a coat. The following Monday, I returned to the company one last time. Richard had asked me to come, not for work, but for a formal ceremony. They wanted to honor me. I had hesitated, but eventually I said yes. The entire company gathered in the main atrium. There were speeches, clapping. even a few tears. Then Richard stepped forward. He handed me a glass plaque etched with gold lettering for 17 years of dedication, brilliance, and unshakable integrity. Lisa Carter. The applause that followed was long and sincere, but what moved me most was the line of employees who waited afterward just to shake my hand. Young engineers, admin staff, janitors, managers, people from every department. One woman, fresh out of college, held my hand a little longer than the others. "I want to be like you someday," she said. I smiled. "Be better than me. Start there." That night I went home, lit a candle, made some tea, and finally, for the first time in years, I slept without setting an alarm, because I knew the company would be fine, and more importantly, so would I. 2 months passed. Hamilton Tech was stable again, smooth operations, clients reassured, the crisis a fading memory. Jason Hamilton, however, had vanished from the tech world as quickly as he had entered it. Word traveled fast. Investors pulled out. Clients asked questions. Board members whispered. And just like that, the golden boy who once smirked at me from behind a mahogany desk was gone. No title, no startup, no legacy, just radio silence. I didn't celebrate. I didn't post about it. I didn't gloat. Because I didn't need to. People like Jason implode on their own. They believe power is inherited, not earned. They treat people as disposable. They believe they're untouchable until they fall. And when they do, it's not the sound of the crash that matters. It's the silence that follows. One afternoon, while sipping coffee in my home office, I got a message. "Hey, it's been a while. Can I call?" Jason. I stared at it for a long time. I didn't owe him anything, but curiosity got the better of me. I answered. His voice was quieter. Then I remembered. No arrogance, no charm, just exhaustion. "I know I'm probably the last person you want to hear from," he began. "You're not wrong," I said. A pause. "I just wanted to say I was wrong. About everything." I didn't reply. I let the silence stretch. Let it sting. "I didn't understand what you did. How much you carried. I thought tech was just tools. Replaceable. I thought loyalty was optional." "It's not," I finally said. "It never was." "I've lost everything," he admitted. "Even my dad won't return my calls. That's between you and him, not my business." He sighed. "You don't have to forgive me. I just needed to say it. Then say it clearly." He took a breath. "I'm sorry, Lisa, for disrespecting you, for underestimating you, for not reading the damn contract. You didn't deserve any of that." I let his words hang, in the air a moment. "Apology accepted," I said. "But don't mistake that for forgetting." I wouldn't dare. That was it. He hung up. I closed my eyes and exhaled. Not because I needed his apology, but because hearing it reminded me just how far I'd come. A few weeks later, I stood at the ribbon-cutting ceremony for my own company, Carter Systems. It wasn't flashy, no. Marble floors or glass walls. Just clean desks, powerful machines, and a team of sharp, passionate engineers. Some from my old Hamilton crew, others fresh graduates with wonder in their eyes. I gave a short speech. Nothing grand, just the truth. "I built my career in the shadows," I said. "I was called just an employee, overlooked, undervalued, underpaid. But I kept building because I believed in what I could do even when no one else did." I looked around the room. If there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Your worth is not determined by who sees you. It's determined by what you build, how you show up, and who you become when no one's watching. The applause wasn't thunderous, but it was real. And in that moment, I didn't feel tired anymore. I felt whole. Today, I mentor young tech, professionals. I teach them how to code, but also how to write contracts, how to protect themselves, how to say no, how to demand respect. Hamilton Tech still exists, but it looks different now. Richard quietly retired. A new CEO, Dana, took over. She reached out to me for guidance during the transition. I told her only one thing: take care of your people, and they'll take care of the company. It's a lesson some never learn, and for others, it changes everything. As for Jason, last I heard, he lives in a studio apartment on the edge of the city. No one calls him Mr. Hamilton anymore. And in the tech world, his name is rarely spoken. But mine? Mine's on contracts now, on invoices, on systems, on the front door of a company I built. Lisa Carter, not a worthless employee, not a forgotten name, a builder, a leader, a woman who rewrote her own ending.